Summer's almost here, and so are summer sports. For us, that means lots of t-ball. So I'm going to show you how I made this super cute baseball themed shirt with a printed pattern HTV and some other iron-on materials. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the little bell icon so you're notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Now, let's get started. I used a few different products on this shirt. What I used first was some white Siser Easyweed HTV, as well as red Cricut foil iron-on. And the last thing I used was a printed pattern HTV. Now, if you've never worked with this, I'm going to go through some tips that will help you get this correct. I got this pattern iron-on from 651 vinyl. When you feel it, it feels a little different. It almost feels like paper. It's a matte finish, so it's not very shiny. And you cut it a little differently than you would cut a regular HTV. So when you order a printed pattern HTV like this, you're also going to need a transfer mask. Now this is similar to the carrier sheet that would be on your Siser Easyweed that stays on after you cut. But because this printed HTV does not have that, we need to add it. And the reason we need to add it is because when you use printed HTV, you're going to leave your pattern side face up on your mat, just like this. Whereas when you use a regular HTV like Siser Easyweed, you put your carrier sheet down and mirror your image. Well, with pattern HTV, you're not going to want to do that. You're going to want to put your pattern face up and do not mirror your image. If you mirror your image, it's going to turn out backwards. So pattern HTV, pattern goes up. You do not need to mirror your image. So I'm going to go through how to cut each one of these materials and show you how they cut out. So as I mentioned before, when you cut a regular HTV, you're going to put the carrier sheet face down on the mat, and the mat side is going to face up. As you can see here, you can see that the carrier side is much shinier than the back. So you're always going to make sure the shiny side is face down, and you mirror your image for a regular HTV. You're going to do that with the white Siser Easyweed as well as the red Cricut foil iron-on. So we're going to go ahead and send these through and cut them, and then we'll cut the pattern iron-on, and then we'll put our shirt together. Now that we've cut our regular HTV, let's go ahead and cut our pattern HTV. Now, like I mentioned before, pattern side face up on your mat, and do not mirror your image, just like you would regular adhesive vinyl. For this, you're going to cut it on the iron-on setting for Cricut. Like I mentioned, I got this HTV from 651 vinyl, and they also have cutter settings on their website available to you for all of their products. So as you can see here, for the printed pattern HTV, I'm using a Cricut, so I'm going to cut on the iron-on setting. This also will show you pressing temperatures and times, as well as pressure level needed for using HTV. So let's go ahead and cut this, and then we will assemble our shirt. Now that everything's cut, we're going to go ahead and weed out our images. A couple of my favorite weeding tools are a weeding ring, so you can stick your pieces of vinyl right inside and it's right there at your fingertips, as well as the pin from 651 vinyl. It's a nice little sharp pin that grabs the vinyl very well. I'm going to show you the proper way to use it while I weed, so you know exactly what you need to do and how it differs from a hook weeding tool. Now that everything has been weeded out and cut and is ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to put this transfer mask on the Pattern HTV. What you're going to want to do is make sure it's laying flat, and you're going to peel your transfer mask off the backing, and you're going to lay it right directly across that Pattern HTV. Now, something that you want to keep in mind is you need to squeegee this down really well. You need to burnish it as much as you can to make sure that it sticks to the transfer mask. Now, something that I suggest is one of these flat squeegees that I get from 651. It's nice and sturdy, and it's a little thicker than like the Cricut scrapers, and it's going to really get a good burnish on there so you can lift that Pattern HTV with your transfer mask. So you're just going to make sure everything is burnished really well. You can even flip it and burnish from the back side as well. Just make sure everything's good. If you get bubbles between your Pattern HTV and your transfer mask, so let's say you had a bubble over your letter here, that's okay. That's going to press out as soon as you're done pressing. It's not going to affect the adhesion of the HTV to the shirt. So once you've burnished it really well, you're going to go ahead and peel that off the backing and get it onto the transfer sheet, just like this. So now that you have your Pattern HTV on your transfer mask, it's going to look similar to your other pieces that you've already cut with their transfer carrier sheets. Now that everything has been weeded out, I've gone ahead and laid it out on the shirt the way I like it. Everything's lined up exactly where I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and press this now. But since we have different press temperatures needed for each one of these products, I'm going to do it kind of in a different order than you might. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this foil right off the pattern piece here. And I'm going to take the white Siser Easyweed off, and I'm going to go ahead and press the pattern iron on first. Now this needs a temperature of 300 degrees, and you're going to press for 15 seconds with a medium pressure, and you're going to warm peel this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press this first, and then add the other layers on, so that way we press our foil layer last because that has the lowest temperature. And you don't want to repress your foil after you've pressed it and taken the carrier sheet off, because it will change the look of how your foil looks. So I'm going to go ahead and press this, and then we'll come back to the next layers and do that. Now that we've gotten our pattern piece ironed on and have the carrier sheet pulled off, I'm going to go ahead and press the Siser HTV. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a protective sheet. I use the Cricut iron-on protective sheet. You can use a Teflon sheet. You can use another piece of the transfer mask. Sometimes that's what I do as well. You put the transfer mask over what you just pressed and repress. But I'm going to go ahead and use this now. Something to be careful of is this does get a little warm. So you want to make sure that after you press, you don't touch directly where you press, because it will get a little warm. And like I said, with Siser Easyweed, we're going to go ahead and press at 305 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds, and you can cool peel or you can warm peel this. You're going to want to press it with a medium pressure. Okay, now that we have the white Siser Easyweed and the pattern pressed, we're going to go ahead and press our foil layer. Our foil layer is 295 degrees with gentle pressure for 30 seconds, and you're going to want to cold peel this product. If you warm peel it, it might not stick and it will pull back up. So you're going to make sure you let it cool off and then you peel it for the best results. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, let it cool, and I'll show you what it looks like when we peel it off. Okay, now that the foil has cooled off from pressing, we're going to go ahead and peel this carrier sheet off. Now, I usually peel mine pretty slow just to make sure that there weren't any spots that didn't get pressed or still might want to pull up. So go ahead, start from a corner, whichever you prefer. You're just going to pull it back nice and slow and make sure that we didn't miss any spots and that everything is pressed on and not going to pull off. Just like that. It pulls off pretty easily and it leaves a nice shiny finish to your shirt. And that's it. We now are done with our T-ball shirt and it is ready for our first T-ball season, which I hope goes well. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press that little bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Thanks for watching.